There we go. Alright, awesome. I was just making sure it was working or whatever. It was having weird fun stuff. Anywho, in Dungeons and Dragons, a common player experience is dying and getting revived and going on missions to bring people back from the dead and all that fun stuff. So much so that a individual in the DM's Guild by the name of, Sleeping Dragons, wrote a monk subclass for a monk who came back from the dead and has brought some abilities with them. This should be very interesting. The subclass is called Way of the Returned. So, without further ado, let's get into that. By the way, welcome back, or welcome to DIS. I am this idiot, and you are hearing me speak, of course. You may go live your life if you wish. I know Christmas is coming up, so you must be busy with that. So go with that. I'll try to make one that's a little better for the Christmas season. This next one should be fun. Not the monk, but the paladin should be fun. So without further ado, let's get into the Way of the Returned. Way of the Returned. You have traveled beyond the veil of mortality. You have seen the shores of the river Styx, yet the gods of death were unable to claim you. Your time spent amongst the dead has changed the very nature of your key. Calling upon the energies of the Styx and the Shadowfell, you are both angel and reaper. The Way of the Returned is an archetype only attainable by those who have left the mortal coil and returned to speak of it, either by way of a resurrection spell or some other ritual. The magics of the Shadowfell, the Ethereal Plane, or whichever forces your character was exposed to has forever changed them. Your key has become infused with necrotic energies, and their countenance has changed to resemble the corpse they once were. When playing a Way of the Returned monk, you should discuss with your DM how or why your character came to walk this path. Was their transformation accidental or deliberate? By what process did their resurrection come about? The forces that fuel your new powers have left a visible mark on your person. At your option, you can pick or roll on the Way of the Returned quirks table to create one or more quirks for your character. Way of the Returned quirks, there is a D6 of them. 1 is your hair is pitch black. 2 is your skin is deathly pale and icy cold. 3 is your heart beats unnervingly slow. 4, you emanate a barely noticeable odor, a sweet smell signaling decay. 5, your sense of taste has become muffled. And 6, your eyes resemble those of ravens. Next up, Umbral Key. Your key has been altered by the magic of the realms beyond death. Starting at 3rd level, you can use your key to duplicate the effects of certain spells. As an action, you can spend key points to cast the following spells without providing material components. Your save DC for these spells is equal to 8 plus your wisdom modifier plus your proficiency bonus. 1 key point is Cure Wounds. 2 key points is Inflict Wounds. 4 key points is Life Transference or Speak with Dead. 7 key points is Mass Healing Word or Revivify. And 10 key points is Enervation. Some of these have the asterisks, meaning you can cast these spells at higher levels by paying 2 key points per additional level of the spell. And that is Cure Wounds, Inflict Wounds, Life Transference, and Mass Healing Word, and Enervation. Ethereal Flicker. You shift between the border ethereal as you strike. Starting at 6th level, when using your Flurry of Blows feature, you can teleport up to 10 feet as a free action. In addition, the damage done by your flurry of blows strikes inflicts an additional 1d4 necrotic damage. This damage increases to 1d6 at a level 11 and to 1d8 at level 17. Aura of Mortality. At 11th level, as a bonus action, you can emanate an aura of dark energy in a 30-foot radius for 1 minute. Creatures of your choice that start their turns within the aura must make a Constitution saving throw. On a failed save, a creature suffers 2d6 necrotic damage and cannot regain hit points until the beginning of their next turn. Let's see. Once you use this feature, you can't use it again until you finish a short or long rest. Cool. Very cool. Return to Ashes. That is the last feature. They have an ability. Must be. Not sure, but we'll see. Return to Ashes. Starting at 17th level, you can commit your foes to death by cremation. As an action, you can force one creature within 30 feet of you to make a Wisdom saving throw. If it fails, it takes 10d8 necrotic damage as well as 10d8 radiant damage and becomes frightened. On a successful save, a creature takes half damage and is not frightened. Undead make their save with disadvantage. Creatures killed by this ability are reduced to a cloud of ashes. Once you use this ability, you cannot use it again until you finish a short or long rest. And they've got a new spell, a first level spell, that it's not on the Umbral Key, but it could be if you want to, I suppose. So it's called Corvus Mantle, first level conjuration. Casting time of 1 action. Range or area is 10 feet. Components is verbal, somatic, and material. The material is a raven's feather. And the duration is 1 minute. You swathe yourself in a congress of ethereal ravens. While this spell is active, you gain 5 temporary hit points. If you suffer damage while you have these hit points, the ravens disperse. Creatures of your choice within 10 feet of you must make a Wisdom saving throw. A creature suffers 2d6 psychic damage on a failed save, or half as much damage on a successful one. This effect cannot be used more than once per casting of the spell. Alternatively, you can dismiss the Congress as a bonus action to achieve the same effect as though you had taken the damage. When used in this way, the radius of the raven's dispersion increases to 15 feet, and you add any remaining temporary hit points to damage. At higher levels, when you cast this spell using a spell slot of 2nd level or higher, the temporary hit points increase by 5, and the psychic damage increases by 1d6. Pretty interesting indeed. On to the review itself. I'll probably say that again. This idiot's review of the Way of the Returned Monk. Let's see, story-wise, it's pretty cool. I like how it's all about like coming back from the dead as a monk, and the way your mystical energy of key of like life force has been twisted and changed to become to be more necrotic, and can be healing, can be harmful, can be both. Kind of reminds me of the Way of Mercy, but it's a different aesthetic, which I like. I also feel like it would be cool if it's like also, if you talk with your DM about it, you can like, if as a monk you die and then come back, depending on like the story and stuff, you could change your subclass to this if you wanted to, which I think would be cool. So they got some quirks about being like a little deathly. And then got your Umbral Key where you can do some spell casting for key points, which I think the balance, it looks pretty nice. So you can do, and then you can upcast some things for higher key points. Ethereal Flicker is really cool. It's kind of like the Rangers, the Horizon Walker Ranger's ability of like when you hit someone, you can do a teleport up to 10 feet. And then you can hit more as long as you're hitting more creatures. But this, it's only when you're using your Flurry of Blows and teleport up to 10 feet. So after that, and then the damage done by your Flurry of Blows strikes. Okay. So you have to Flurry of Blows to get the additional necrotic damage, which is cool. Or Mortality. It's a aura around yourself. 30-foot radius. That's a pretty big radius. For 1 minute, they make a Constitution saving throw, or take necrotic damage and can't regain hit points. That's really cool, really powerful. That is at 11th level, so that makes sense. And then Return to Ashes. You can cause someone to like try to cremate them and just like kill them, which is really cool. Taking a bunch of necrotic and a bunch of radiant and becoming frightened on a failed save, which is cool. And then the new spell, Corvus Mantle. It's kind of like Armor of Agathis, which is like the ice armor, temporary hit points. Or like, it would, instead of like hitting them, and be from them against that person, is people around you, which is cool. As the ravens flee, like cawing into your mind, or ripping it to shreds, kind of, which is cool. And then you can, as a bonus action, dismiss it, and then it's the same effect, but the radius is bigger and the temporary hit points are added to it, which is really cool. It's really cool. Anything overpowered or underpowered? I do not think so. Actually, looking at it, I was thinking the Ethereal Flicker was a little overpowered with like the additional damage with your fists and the teleport, but that's only with Flurry of Blows, and that's on one. Whenever you Flurry of Blows, you can teleport. It's not whenever you hit. And then when you Flurry of Blows, the Flurry of Blows is the necrotic damage. It's weird. It's all tied to your Flurry of Blows, which I like. Or of Mortality might be a little big too, but that might just be me. Now, and it's 11th level, so it's gonna be, you are more powerful anyway. So there's that. Let's see here. Besides that, nothing else seems very overpowered. The Return to Ashes reminds me of the what is it, like the Quivering Palm or whatever, where you can like hit someone and then they make a con save, and on a failed save, whenever you choose, they take like 10d10 necrotic damage or something. I don't know. Super powerful. This is like that too. A little more powerful, but it's a wisdom save and they're frightened, and it's necrotic and radiant, so it's two different types, which is nice. And let's see here. Besides that, I think it looks pretty cool. I'd be really interested in checking this out. Of course, if you want to let me know in the comments what you think of it, if you think something is too powerful, what you think of the Corvus Mantle. And then if you want to talk to me about like joining my team, about like making this better, and then maybe making more videos, that would be fun. Let's see here. I hope you're enjoying my streaming. That's fun. I'm starting to do more farming because I can't. The story is too hard so far right now. I mean, I'm like right near the end, so of course it's gonna be like boss fight after boss fight after boss fight. But maybe I'll try again on Friday. I might try that a couple times and then continue to farming. Excuse me. And that's fun. Check out my writing. Of course, it's unedited, so it's, yeah. let me know if you're interested in some of the settings that I might create. That would be fun. Anything else? Not really. Oh, next week I am going to the Paladin. It's called the Path? No, it's Oath. Oath of Enlightenment. About, like, bringing to light lies and, like, trying to, it doesn't really have a blurb, but it has the tenets. So, like, bringing out the lies, trying to understand, perfecting yourself, all of that, like, kind of monkey, like, stuff of, like, being true to yourself. I mean, all the good therapy stuff, too. So that should be fun. That'll be really interesting. That'll be, what day will that be? 8th, 15th, so right before Christmas. That'll be cool. All about, the perfecting of yourself at Christmas. I think that's a good thing. So that should be really fun. Join me for that. That'll be definitely a lighthearted, more lighthearted subclass than the ones we've done of, death and destruction and more death and more destruction. Like the Witch Knight, But that should be really fun. Join me next week for that. Previous episode or favorite episode or whatever, and then the channel subscription. Please comment, like, subscribe, notifications, share if you're really interested in this. Share with your DMs if you're like, ooh, I'd like to try this sometime. Because seems pretty cool. Seems relatively balanced to me. Let me know if you agree or disagree. I'd love to hear your opinion on this. Yeah, I can't think of anything else to say. This has been a fascinating review of this Way of the Returned. And join me next week for the Oath of Enlightenment. And with that being said, this idiot.